join us live then from the Maritime Hotel in Halle in Germany. And it's main event time.
Internationale Meisterschaft im Cruisergewicht. Der Kampf geht über 12 Runden. Ich rufe in die rote Ecke den Herausforderer aus Köln. Hier kommt Ruediger May.
So here he comes then. This is the challenger for the title of Ruediger May, the big, tall German. And, well, he's got a good record, 43 wins, only 11 inside, though, 5 defeats and 3 draws in 51 outings, Ruediger. And there's some pretty good names on his record as well. And, well, he's won his last 3, but he lost 2 prior to that. Marco Huck beat him on points over 10, as did Krzysztof Ruediger in a European Union Cruiserweight title fight. Johnny Nelson, you may remember, stopped him in 7 rounds back in 04. But he got a draw for the European title against Vincenzo Cantatori and also knocked out the other Italian, Vincenzo Rossito. Draws against Alexander Petkovic, a loss to Alexander Gurov in 4. And a points loss to Turan Bagchi was the first defeat on his record. But when he's gets it right, he gets it right. And I've got a fear, Bob Mee, that fear is the key here for Ruediger May.
Yeah, May's been sparring with David Hay, and he's called it perfect preparation. David Hay won the unification fight with Enzo Maccarinelli at the weekend. And May, well, he was brought in to give Hay some quality sparring, so he says that's helped him. We'll see.
Man nennt ihn the Dancing Destroyer. War auch schon Weltmeister. Begrüßen Sie Herbie Height.
So Herbie Hyde then coming to the ring. He's the reigning and defending champion. First defence for him. He beat Mikhail Nazirov, you may remember, in 6 rounds last time out in this town. And he's had some good wins in his time. He was stopped in 3 rounds by Mindaugas Kulikauskas, who generally gets beaten. Vitaly Klitschko beat him in 2 on a knockout. He beat Tony Tucker. That was a big win for him when he beat Tony Tucker. Also had that fight with Riddick Bowe, remember, got stopped in 6 rounds and was on the floor 6 times. Don't quite know how many were genuine knockdowns, but he first won the... he beat Michael Benton in 7 rounds, Bob, if you remember rightly. And one other name worth mentioning was Jean Chanet. And his first 12 opponents were English, by the way, Herbie Hyde, but then he started moving in international company. Real name is
Ladies
Herbert
and gentlemen,
Okechukwu
Herbie,
Madwagu.
the Dancing Destroyer Height.
Originally from Owerri in Nigeria. 41 wins, 4 defeats in 45 starts, but he's actually stopped 40 opponents. The only man he couldn't put away was Everett Bigfoot Martin, who he outpointed. So formalities look completed then.
Meine Damen und Herren, ich darf Ihnen beide Kämpfer näher vorstellen. In der roten Ecke aus Köln, Deutschland, Ruediger May.
Yep, 33 years of age.
33 Jahre alt, 1,97 groß. Er wiegt 88,6 Kilo. Er hat 43 Siege, 11 durch K.O., 3 Unentschieden in seiner Ecke. Uli May und Enno Wehrle.
And that's his dad.
In der blauen Ecke Herbie Heid, geboren in Owerri, Nigeria. Er lebt in Hamburg, ist 36 Jahre alt, 1,88 groß, 90,1 Kilo schwer. Er hat 41 Siege, davon 40 durch K.O. In seiner Ecke sein Trainer Bülent Baser und der Cutman Werner Kirsch.
So down from heavyweight then to cruiserweight, which is really where he belongs, Herbie Hyde. And out to retain his WBC international title, which means absolutely nothing to me.
From Italy, Buonasera Massimo Barovecchio.
There is a Massimo Barovecchio, very experienced referee.
Robin Dolpier aus Frankreich, Esa Lechtosari aus Finnland und Jürgen Langos aus Deutschland. Der Supervisor kommt aus Italien, Mauro Betti, und der technische Leiter Thomas 90.
So there you are, Wolfgang Leimeier giving the lowdown on the officials there. So we have potentially 12 rounds in front of us here. Ruediger May, as you can see, is absolutely enormous in comparison here to Herbie Hyde, and he does know how to fight the Hydes of this world, by the way, Ruediger May. Bob, what's your initial thought?
My initial thought is that May's got to take this into the later rounds. Of course, you never know what you're going to get with Herbie Hyde, and that's part of the drama. Even at the age of 36, he's interesting to watch because you're not quite sure what he's going to produce. But May, well, he's not a banger on paper. He's got such a long reach. He's a decent jabber, and he's got to keep Hyde away. There we go, straight away, May putting the left hand out. But Hyde, all about power, still quick enough at 36. And dangerous, very dangerous early on.
Indeed. But Ruediger May, who has cut up quite badly in the past, takes a couple of shots there from Hyde. And if Hyde's going to win this one effectively, he's going to have to do it early on, I would have thought, because the longer it goes, the more it will suit May.
On paper, yes. We just never know with Herbie, but he can hit still. But he makes so many errors defensively, and he's rushing into May here. He's not thinking too much about what he's doing.
He doesn't take much of a punch either, does he, Herbie Hyde?
Well, he's been knocked out by good heavyweights and by one journeyman heavyweight, but Vitaly Klitschko and Riddick Bowe, well, I think we can understand that. It just wasn't big enough, and he got intimidated by Klitschko.
Who wouldn't?
Step back. Rudy, step back.
But as a cruiserweight, you're right, it suits him. The division, when it changed to 200 pounds, 14 stone 4, suddenly he thought, I can make this. And he couldn't make the old limit of 13.8 for very long. He outgrew that, but he's reaching a little bit early.
Yes, and May, of course, looking to contain him in the early rounds here. And as Bob has said, take him into the later rounds. And, well, May, they're getting through the couple of shots. And one thing you don't often see is people actually putting Hyde on the back foot. He's very much a front foot fight, doesn't he, Hyde?
Yeah, he's non-top fighter, but he can still hit, as he showed on his comeback so far. He put the Russian down, Mikhail Nazarov, 3 times to win this title. This is on paper more difficult because May's much more experienced than Nazarov. Bit untidy first round, but that'll suit May.
Step back. Step back.
Right, Bob, who's your money on?
Too early to say, but May's landing the jab and the right hand, but he hasn't taken one solid shot back yet, and we'll see what happens when he does.
Yes, he's likely to frustrate Hyde, who's got one or two bad habits when that does occur. He can use the odd move that is pretty unorthodox, and he'll pick up the odd warning as well, I should suspect. But that's, only supposing that the frustration does seep in. Oh, nice long left-right there from Ruediger May. Took a couple back, though.
Yeah, and he's hurt.
He is hurt. He's on the deck here in the first round. Well, Hyde there, raised his arms. He's happy with things.
Yeah, Mai landed 2 good shots and then paid for it. Lost concentration and Hyde burst back, and immediately the punches had an effect.
Yes, he did. Well, there's the bell to end. What could be a 10-8 round for Hyde.
Yep, that turned it all around. I was just thinking Mai was beginning to have a decent session, and then it all went wrong for him. But it happened too late for Hyde to finish him off.
Now, that's either the best thing Hyde's done or the worst. And I think you know what I mean by that, don't you?
Yeah, here's the shot. That's the right hand. It landed a bit high, but his eyes went into orbit then. Jab, another right hand. He was still shaken up from the first one, and it didn't take too much to put him over. That's bad signs for Mai. That was one shot, really.
Yeah, but as we know, Hyde is a pretty heavy puncher. And yeah, the legs went to pieces there, didn't they?
Yep. And that was a cuffing right hand, but he was on his way.
Round 2.
Here we go, round 2 then of a scheduled 12, an explosive start here in this WBC International Heavyweight Championship. And Ruediger Mai on the floor and took another right there.
I think Massimo Barravecchio has got to get a hold of this fight fairly quickly, because he could get rough. Mai's going to hold on, he's going to move, he's trying to clear his head. Hyde's going to try to finish him off, and it's going to be untidy.
Yes. This was always one of those fights that, oh, he took another right there. Well, sorry, he's taken another right there. Don't keep holding on, says the referee.
Well, he's going to. He's got to get through 2 or 3 rounds of this. He doesn't want to take another solid shot in this round. He's
gone again from a right.
No, it was
no knockdown, says the referee. I thought it was.
Well, the punch kind of skidded around the back, and the momentum took him over, but he's shaken up. He's not recovered from the first round here.
Ooh. What is Hyde doing? He's famous for this, isn't he?
Well, yeah, he's going to get a warning here for this, but he's just brawling his way in.
1 point off the Hyde score there.
Yeah, rabbit punch, late punch. Maybe that'll calm him down, maybe it won't.
I don't think so. He's not that kind of guy, is he? And trying to pile into Mai here again. And as I said, Bob, when Hyde gets frustrated, he does silly things, doesn't he?
He does, but he likes this situation. He's a great on-top fighter. Good on-top fighter. And here he goes, he's just teeing off here.
And well, Mai doesn't need to be there. Oh, goodness.
Yeah, it's all over, Steve.
He's in a bad way. It's all over. It's finished for Ruediger Mai in 2 rounds. Well, he didn't even need to take that into account, the point deduction for Herbie Hyde, because he's retained his title. And, well, like you were saying prior to the fight, Bob, it all depends what Ruediger Mai's got left. And let's face it, he didn't have an awful lot, did he?
Well, the first right hand took everything out of him at the end of round 1. He didn't recover in the minutes interval. He tried to buy some time, couldn't do it. Hyde, he's still got that finishing instinct. Sometimes it's rough and ready. He's not as clinical as he used to be, but he does enjoy it when he's got a man to just wade into. And Mai just couldn't stay with him, couldn't survive, couldn't get his head clear.
Yeah, that's a real shame, especially, of course, for Ahmet Erner, our promoter.
Well, don't worry about him. He's got a piece of both fighters, as we say.
Yeah.
And Hyde, well, yeah, he's just marauding forward and rough and ready. Few fouls on the inside, but that left uppercut was a good one. And holding the head and hitting as well. Referee just letting that go, but just slugs him to the canvas and finished him off. And Mai, well, he's just unable to deal with it.
Yes, a poor performance there, I thought, from Ruediger Mai. Hyde's not getting any better, but, you know, he did what he had to do.
Well, he can still punch, and that's what makes him dangerous and watchable. He's ranked number 9 by the WBC, number 5 by the WBO, as he finishes Mai off there. You know, we thought in Britain we'd seen the last of him years ago, but he's still here, and he's won 6 in a row with Ahmet Erner, 7 in a row as a cruiser, and who knows? With David Hay probably leaving the cruiserweight division, he might get a shot. But, well, is it the end for Ruediger Mai? He just unravelled, didn't he? 33 years of age.
Yeah, his best days are very clearly behind him. He was never a great fighter, by the way, in his best day, but he was very good at what he did, and what he did was to stand up nice and tall and to keep dangerous men like Hyde at bay. But he can't do that anymore.
And the worst thing for him was that he landed a solid right hand and he just, you know, got a bit too confident and then was hit.
Aus Italien stoppte den Kampf nach 1 Minute 47 der zweiten Runde.
Yep, 147 of round 2.
Alter und neuer BBC-Champion im Cruisergewicht, Herbie, the Dancing Destroyer, Hyde.
So Hyde then rolls on, and well, goodness knows what's next for him. Maybe a proper title.
I'm a warrior, and basically, I saw him hurt, I had to take him out. When I'm in the ring, I don't know what I'm doing. All I'm doing is fight. That's what I'm paid for. I'm sorry about hitting the back of the head, but that's how it goes. That couldn't be me, he done that. I'm sorry, all.
Ladies and gentlemen, Herbie, the Dancing Destroyer, Hyde.
Well, I tell you what, he'd swap all of his titles, wouldn't he, for just a touch of popularity, because that's something he severely lacks, unfortunately. But there you go. That's some people that like that. Anyway, Hyde is still the champion, and good luck to him, and whatever he, of course, decides to do. I think while he's campaigning in Germany, he'll have a long winning streak. So there you are then, that's our main event out of the way, but we've still got loads to come here on British Eurosport. Yeah, we're going to be back with a light welterweight contest next. Kanat Kartenbayev next against Sergei Sorokin. And that is our next contest. It's scheduled, by the way, for 12 rounds. It is a title fight. And it's a WBC International Light Welterweight Championship, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy it.